The morning after, Gareth woke up and realized that he was still lying on top of Agrius. Agrius's hair was shining like gold as the first light of dawn slipped through the hotel room window. Gareth kissed Agrius's hair softly and murmured in his ear,
"Good morning, Agrius."
Agrius woke up feeling the weight of Gareth. Images of the night before flooded Agrius's brain. He smiled and said,
"Good morning, Gareth."
"Coffee?" asked Gareth while crawling out of the bed.
"Yes, please."
Agrius replied, rolling over and sitting up. Gareth put Agrius's sports team jersey on and came back with 2 coffee mugs, leaving them on the nightstand, and then walking over to the other side of the bed. Agrius just stared at him, mesmerized. Gareth turned round and looked at himself in the mirror, crossing his legs casually. Agrius was hypnotized by the sight of Gareth's freckled legs. After a few minutes, Agrius broke the silence, saying,
Nothing sexier than your boyfriend wearing your sports team jersey in the morning while you're lying in bed.
Boyfriend?
asked Gareth shyly, crawling back into bed and sitting next to Agrius. Agrius looked him dead in the eye.
I mean, yes, I think so. Probably.
Then kissed him. After the kiss, they casually grabbed their coffee mugs, sipping their coffee quietly. Then Agrius said,
You know the night of the draft? In that hotel gym back in Massachusetts?
Gareth blushed. Agrius groaned and said,
I wanted to pin you to the floor. I could not stop staring at your mouth. I thought you would notice.
Gareth said,
I didn't. I was too busy trying to stop myself from straddling you, kissing you. I couldn't believe how much I wanted to. It terrified me. I had never...
Never wanted a man?
Agrius asked.
Never. At least, I didn't think I did. But you, Agrius. I went right back to my room and ran my fingers up and down my shorts, thinking about you.
Gareth's cheeks turned bright pink. Agrius squeezed his eyes shut and gasped out.
Me too.
Their confessions caused a bolt of desire to rocket through their bodies, and they kissed each other roughly as the room filled with the sounds of their muffled breathing. When they finally separated, Gareth said while panting,
That was huge.
I'm a mess.
Agrius flopped onto his back and stared up at the ceiling.
I'm screwed.
He murmured.
I'm so in love, and it's horrible.
When he looked back at Gareth, he could see Gareth's love-struck eyes gazing longingly at him.
You're not alone in this.
Gareth finally said.
We're both screwed.
Agrius chuckled as he flung his arm around Gareth's shoulder, kissing his bouncy orange curls. And Gareth's heart stopped for a split second.
I have to go,
Said Agrius. He got dressed and left before Gareth could see him cry. On his way back to Malfoy Manor, Agrius started to think that he had to end this thing with Gareth. It was never supposed to have gotten to this point. He was never supposed to have fallen in love with Gareth Weasley. He should have ended it long before, because now it was going to hurt so fecking much.
What on earth else could they do? If they kept this up, it was only a matter of time before they got caught. And that would be a fecking disaster. Agrius didn't think that there was an official rule in Quidditch about being romantically involved with a rival player, but only because the league couldn't possibly imagine one being necessary.
That's how shocking a revelation like this would be, if Agrius and Gareth were found out. Agrius's deepest fear was that he would be kicked out of the Slytherin team and that he would be sent home the same way he got sent home, after the Sorting Hat labeled him as a squib when he was 11 years old. He swore to himself back then that he would never go through a humiliation like that again. Yet here he was. Agrius's stakes were higher, but he knew their relationship would only negatively impact Gareth's career too, since only healers were authorized to give sports massage, and Agrius was no healer. Despite their apparent rivalry, Agrius wanted to see Gareth thrive in his career. As soon as Agrius arrived at Malfoy Manor and shut his bedroom door behind him, he covered his face in his hands and released all of his anguish and frustration and fear, and most importantly, his shattered dream of ever being loved. Chapter 5, April 1900. Hogwarts Quidditch Pitch. Gareth could see Agrius standing near the center line as their two teams warmed up before their final match of the season. Agrius was wearing the Slytherin Quidditch captain uniform and was talking to one of his teammates. Agrius's blonde hair was gleaming in the sunshine. He was hard to miss as it was. Agrius was on his broom now, hovering over the middle of the pitch. It looked like a dare or an invitation. Gareth flew over in Agrius's direction and came to a slow stop in front of Agrius.
Hi,
Said Gareth. Agrius glanced at him and nodded.
Weasley.
Gareth leaned in so he could pretend to be inspecting the tip of his broomstick. Then Gareth mustered the courage to look up and say,
I think I hurt my back. Would you come over to my place tonight and make it better?
Agrius nodded again, his gaze fixed on the ground down below.
Same place as last time?
He asked.
Yeah.
Gareth sighed in relief. He could see a tightening in Agrius's jaw.
Hey, are you all right?
Gareth asked. Agrius looked up and met Gareth's eyes, and Gareth could tell that Agrius wanted to break up with him. But not here, since they couldn't be more on the spotlight than they were right now.
We'll talk later.
Gareth promised.
Yes, later.
Agrius flew away. Gareth watched after him, and then he saw Leander swiftly approaching.
What did Malfoy want?
Nothing.
Gareth said, blinking and turning to face Leander.
Just Malfoy being Malfoy, you know.
Agrius and his smarmy flattery. Rather the confidence and courage of a Gryffindor than the slimy bravado of a Slytherin,
Leander said.
He's not a bad guy.
Gareth said, a little daringly.
It's mostly an act.
Pretty convincing one.
Leander chuckled.
Yeah, well.
Gareth almost told him that Agrius was actually very open-minded, fun, sexy, and romantic, but he stopped himself. Instead, he said,
Let's just make sure we win this one, all right?
You're right. Let's take down Slytherin.
said Leander, and flew away. Agrius loved playing against Gareth, almost as much as he loved being in bed with him. They were now both fighting over the quaffle, and this was Agrius's favorite part of any game.